Choosing Life by ginnyrules27, Chapter 21. Mal held back a sigh as the lights from the television studio shone down on her. They were finally doing it. They were finally telling the kingdom about the kids. There was a small part of her that wondered why they had to do this. After all, Elle and Emma were both pregnant, and neither one of them was setting up interviews to tell random strangers their child's gender. But, as their mother had reminded her, Elle and Emma weren't the High Queen of Oradon. Some things just came with the territory. Plus, it would be a stretch to expect to go through the whole pregnancy without the kingdom finding out.
I'm here with King Ben and Queen Mal, who have been gracious enough to give me an exclusive interview today,
Snow said, smiling at the two of them.
I must say, your highnesses, this is rather unexpected, but I'm thrilled that you have both joined me here today.
We're happy to be here, Snow,
Ben said, returning the smile.
Well, I was told that you have a very special announcement for us all, and judging by the lovely balloons we have next to us, it has to be something rather exciting,
Snow said, gesturing to the two balloons that were both shaped like a dragon and a beast. Evie had gotten the idea from watching some videos on OraTube, and while Mal had been intrigued by the smoke reveal, she had to agree with Ben's point that they were going to be indoors. Confetti might be a better choice, even if a smoke bomb fit her VK background.
Without further ado, your highnesses, I'll let you take it away,
Snow said, pulling Mal back to the conversation. Mal smiled as Ben gently squeezed her hand. They'd discussed it before arriving, and they had come up with the idea for Mal to make the initial announcement, since she was the one carrying the kids.
Thank you, Snow. And you're right. I think this is something rather exciting. King Ben and I are pleased to announce that I'm pregnant. Oh, how exciting! Snow gushed. But wait, there are two balloons here, which I'm guessing has something to do with the announcement. Queen Mal, are you saying...
Whatever you're thinking is absolutely right, Snow. I'm expecting twins. Mal nodded before pulling back the light coat she had been wearing, showing her baby bump to the kingdom. As you can probably understand, we kept things low-key to be on the safe side, but now I'm pleased to say that I am pregnant with a due date in late May. Snow gave both of them a smile before looking at the camera.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is definitely exciting. The first pregnancy of King Ben and Queen Mal's reign.
Feel free to sound like a broken record, Snow, because we are definitely excited, Ben said with a small chuckle. And we wanted to share with you all the genders of our children, so that the kingdom will know as well whether there'll be 2 crown princes, or crown princesses, or one of each.
By all means, Snow said as the three of them got up to go over to the balloons. Mal had to chuckle as Ben handed her the dragon balloon. No matter what, Ben couldn't imagine causing harm to a dragon, real or otherwise.
Meanwhile, those who don't know us are probably just assuming it's based on our crests,
Mal thought as Ben took the beast balloon.
After all, I still think that Ben has the beast insignia on almost all of his clothes. Queen Mal, would you like to go first?
Snow asked.
I would hate to have you standing for too long after all.
Snow, it's perfectly fine, but I'm happy to go first, Mal said as Ben handed her the pin they'd used to pop the balloons.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Mal popped the balloon and couldn't help but chuckle as blue confetti flew around her, some even landing in her hair. On the screen behind Ben's shoulder, Mal could see the words, "It's a boy!" light up in blue and yellow font. Say what you wanted about Oradon, they did love their royal colours.
Oh, how wonderful! Looks like Oradon will be seeing a crown prince,
Snow said, her megawatt smile never leaving her face.
Now the question is, will he be having a brother or a sister?
And I'm here to answer that question, Ben said as he took the pin from Mal. Thank you, Mal. In 3, 2, 1.
Popping the balloon, Ben smiled as he saw the purple confetti they had agreed upon to announce their daughter. While pink was more traditional, it didn't make much sense considering the royal colours hadn't changed much since Ben married Mal. They had just added a colour. And purple was definitely a royal colour.
Well, I guess that answers that question,
Snow said as she looked over at her audience.
Soon, Oradon will be welcoming their new Crown Prince and Crown Princess. Congratulations to you both,
she added as she looked back at Ben and Mal, who had taken the opportunity to steal a hug. Mal smiled as she rested her head on Ben's shoulder.
Thank you, Snow. We're looking forward to having them arrive. Have you decided on any names?
We have, Ben nodded. And Snow. We'll be happy to announce that our children will be named Stephanie Isabel Haley Labeto and Maurice Benjamin Adam Labeto.
Full name will only be used in case they get into really big trouble,
Mal added with a chuckle.
But we wanted to make sure we could include all of the grandparents without making someone feel like they were being left out. Well, I think those are wonderful names, and I wish you both an easy labour in the coming days,
Snow said.
I think that'll be more appreciated by my wife, but thank you, Snow,
Ben said as both he and Mal chuckled. Before they knew it, the broadcast was over and Ben was handing Mal her coat. Not that she needed to wear it any more, of course, but he didn't want her to forget it.
I hope you two don't mind if I speak as a friend rather than a reporter now,
Snow said as she walked over to them, having been called away by the end of the broadcast by the cameraman because of an issue with the tripod.
Of course, Snow.
Mal nodded. Snow gave the young queen a smile before beginning to speak once more.
I hope you'll forgive me, but I have to admit I did have my suspicions when you arrived. Wearing a baggy coat is a classic, and, as you know, Emma is pregnant as well, which makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. Of course, Emir had to follow along with you.
Did you really put it past him?
Ben asked with a chuckle. Snow chuckled as well, before sobering slightly.
But, in all seriousness, I just wanted to say once more that I am so happy for you two, and not just from the stance of the press or as a citizen, but as a friend as well.
Thank you, Snow, Mal said, returning the smile. And I know I couldn't keep the pregnancy a secret much longer, but growing up on the Isle, it wasn't the best health-wise. I truly didn't want to risk anything happening in this pregnancy and getting everyone's hopes up for naught. And I hope Emma's pregnancy is going well. It's probably the longest we've gone without seeing Emir, with how glued to her he's been.
You're welcome, Val, Snow told her, and from what Emma's told me, she's had some days where she feels worse than others. But on the whole, she says she can't complain, because that it could be worse.
Mal and Ben couldn't help but smile as they heard that. Emma was a dear friend, and the last thing they'd wanted was for her to suffer.
Good, Ben said. I'm glad she's not having a difficult pregnancy. And I'm sure they're looking forward to the day where they get to meet their son or daughter.
Do you know if they're finding out at the gender, or are they keeping it a surprise?
Mal asked.
They're keeping it a surprise, Snow told her. Though I'm sure if they were going to find out the gender, you two would have been the first to know. I know they're going to be over the moon about your news.
Oh, I'm sure you're already right about that.
Ben nodded, a smile on his lips as he thought of one of his oldest friends.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was at the hospital the day our kids arrive.
If it wasn't for the fact that Emma's due date is so close to mine, I'd say I agree with you there, Ben,
Mal said with a small chuckle. Snow, thank you so much for letting us make this announcement with you.
I was happy to help, Mal, Snow told her. But you know you're going to be asked for photos at the Learning to be Royal meeting. At least after the twins are born, but if you wanted to share the ultrasound pictures, you certainly can.
That's something I'll happily provide, Mal told her. Despite being queen for the past 3 years, she still enjoyed attending the Learning to be Royal meetings. Though she wasn't going to lie, it had been a challenge to keep her pregnancy a secret from the other members, especially those who had been pregnant before. Rapunzel and Cinderella especially always seemed to have a knowing look about them whenever Mal saw them at a meeting. Though Mal was happy to continue to attend, especially with Ginny, Bobby and Roland joining the meetings, more than likely invited by their respective mother-in-law, as well as Ginny had married Chad, while the Hood brothers had married and engaged Kitty and Lucy respectively. In all honesty, Mal had to wonder when Lucy and Bobby were going to stop dragging their feet on the wedding. Though it was none of her business, it was entirely possible they had a more private wedding. After all, Kitty and Roland had practically eloped in terms of a royal wedding.
Mal? Ben asked.
Mal asked, looking over at him and pulling herself out of her thoughts. Ben chuckled.
You okay? You were kinda just staring off into space for a bit.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Mal said, shaking her head.
I just got lost in thought. Happened to me all the time with Emma, and then with Neil,
Snow told her.
You just head on home and relax, Mal.
I think I'll take you up on that advice, Mal said, nodding her head, as both she and Ben gave Snow another grateful smile before making their way out of the studio and to their limo, which was waiting by the side of the entrance, just in case there were any of Snow's journalistic colleagues waiting by the front door. The drive home was uneventful, thankfully, and soon both Mal and Ben found themselves walking through the door of their castle, Estelle and Nyx trotting up to greet them.
Hey, boy,
Mal smiled as she saw Estelle, Ben bending over slightly to pet Nyx behind the ears.
Anything happened while we were gone?
Estelle snorted and shook his head.
Well, that's good,
Mal said with a small smile, as she looked over at Ben.
So, what do you want to do now?
Cuddle, Ben suggested.
Sounds good to me,
Mal said before giving him a small, teasing smile.
Though I would have thought you would have said paperwork.
Ha ha, Ben shook his head as they went to sit down on one of the couches they had in their living room.
I do know how to relax, you know.
I know, Benny,
Mal said before leaning over to kiss Ben on the cheek.
I was just teasing.
Ben gave her a small smile before resting his hand on her stomach.
Gods, I can't wait until they're here,
he whispered as one of the babies kicked. Ben couldn't help but wonder which baby it was who did it. Was it Stephanie going to be like her mum in attitude? Or was it Maurice?
You and me both, then,
Mal said softly.
Gods, and then soon it will be Elle giving birth, and then Emma, and then Uma.
Remind me why we are trying to repopulate the Earth by scheduling all the pregnancies around the same time.
Well, we didn't schedule anything, and neither did Uma. Your shadows, on the other hand, I wouldn't put it past them.
Ben shook his head.
They didn't even know we were having twins, and they still managed to make it so that Stephanie and Maurice have a shadow each.
Could you imagine what they'd do if they did know we were having twins back when Elle and Emma got pregnant?
Mal chuckled.
Knowing our shadows, they'd try to make it so they had twins too. I wouldn't be surprised if Akio teaches Melody's twins how to shadow as well.
And now you've put that idea out into the universe, Ben said. I can just picture it now, our kids coming to us about Percy and Maddie shadowing them.
And whatever Uma's naming her Squidling,
Mal added. Uma was still adamant about keeping the gender of her baby a surprise, saying that's what they would have done if she had gotten pregnant on the Isle. Meanwhile, every time Mal had talked to Harry, he had been insistent that the baby was going to be a girl. A small part of Mal had to wonder if the reason Harry was so insistent was because, in a small way, he was trying not to get disappointed the way he had been when CJ was born. Don't think about that, Mal told herself. Think about the fact that soon your kids will be here, and with any luck, they'll take after their father. I mean, who wouldn't want their kids to be like Ben? He is amazing, and well, I'm not rotten to the core or anything, but I'd rather not have our kids be like me. If there's any God that's listening, please let the kids take after Ben.
Hey,
Ben said softly, almost as if he knew what Mal was thinking. Of course he didn't, not having access to the mental link, but after 3 years of marriage, he had a good grasp on what Mal was thinking about.
What's on your mind? You've got that look on your face. You're worrying mixed with a clash of doubting yourself look.
Mal couldn't help but sigh softly as she rested her head on Ben's shoulder.
I was just hoping our kids turn out like you, she said softly.
Why? I think it'd be great if our kids take after you. Your confidence, your poise.
My tendency to make people hate me?
Hey, no one hates you,
Ben said gently, as Estelle and Nix yipped softly, as if to agree with Ben.
I can say with certainty that the only people who hate you are as dead as a doornail. And they don't count anyway. Freddy Boy and Leah.
Mal sighed, choosing not to comment on the third person.
Okay, so maybe no one hates me, other than Ariana for sending Audrey to the Isle and inadvertently killing Leah.
Oh yeah, forgot about her. Didn't she end up married to Prince Ahmed's son?
Yeah, she did. Amir spent about 5 hours ranting about how Ariana finally found someone as full of himself as she was. Remember? I almost feel sorry for Prince Hassan, though.
Why?
Because I might have mailed him a pair of boxes with hearts on them when Amir told me the news.
Ben shook his head. Mal.
Hey, it was anonymous. Mal shrugged. And really, you can blame pregnancy brain. But this just proves my point. Wouldn't you want our kids to have your diplomatic nature, then?
What I want is for our kids to be happy and healthy, Ben told her. Diplomacy can be taught, after all. I'd rather the kids not feel like they have to suppress who they are, just like I don't want you to do that either.
Even if it means my fiery nature embarrasses?
Have you been thinking about Natalie again?
Ben said, looking at Mal in slight concern. Even though it had been years since she darkened their lives, there were certain words that Mal would use at times that Ben immediately associated with Natalie. Mal sighed.
I try not to. Especially since she represented a time of my life where I basically changed almost all of me to try to please parts of the kingdom who wouldn't be pleased, no matter what I did. But I don't know. Sometimes her words still worm their way back into my brain.
Well, here's what I say to those words,
Ben said, gently kissing Mal on top of her head.
I love my wife the way she is, and she could never embarrass me or the kingdom. And I know her fiery personality will help her be an amazing mother, because she'll be ready to protect her kids, no matter what.
Ben?
Though I would like to ask that she stop eating all the strawberries, Ben said with a small chuckle. You realise you're not the only godling using up an Oradon resource, right?
What do you mean?
Mal, do you know how many eggs Makara's family consumes ever since she married Gil? I've already had to talk to Akio, causing a bread shortage because he loves his sandwiches, but at least he's got other food he can use.
Mal chuckled. Benny, you do remember who Gil's father is, right? Mr. Eats 5 dozen eggs a day. But if it makes things any easier, I can talk to Makara about using Hercules' chickens.
Hercules has a farm?
He grew up on one. He's more comfortable that way.
Ben smiled and held Mal close.
That would be great. Thanks, Mal. But you don't have to do it right away. After the kids come.
Hard to believe how close that seems now.
Mal said with a small sigh.
Are you sure we've got everything?
Nursery's set up. Staff and Kingdom have been informed. We have 2 guard dogs for our kids. And we've got extra guards as well. Ben nodded. We're all set.
So, why does it feel like we're forgetting something?
Mal said. Before Ben could answer, both of their phones began to ring.
Who's calling us?
Ben asked.
Jay's on mine,
Mal said. Emir's on mine. Ben shook his head. He had a feeling he knew what this was about.
Speakerphone then?
Sounds good. 3, 2, 1. What do you mean you're having twins?
Their friends' voices called out of both of their phones.
Oh, that's what we forgot,
Mal thought with a small snort, as ranting began.
Thanks for keeping it a secret, Hats.
Seriously, you're in your 20s and you still don't know how to keep your thoughts off the link.
If Dad hadn't banned me from muting the link, I would.
Sure, Molly, sure. And congrats, by the way. I saw the announcement with Alex and the others. Let me just say they weren't happy I kept it a secret from them.
Why didn't you tell them?
That's your business. I don't get to be the cool uncle by being the one blabbing secrets all over the place.
Miles smiled slightly. Thanks, Hans. So, does this mean you're admitting you're in a relationship with Alexandria?
Because you're experiencing baby fever, I'm going to ignore that you said that. Rhea can't wait to meet the kids, by the way.
Neither can I, Hans. Neither can I. Mal thought as she snuggled up close to Ben. Neither one of them even attempting to get a word in while their friends continued to freak out over their phones. Even if their lives were about to change, it was clear that it was only for the better. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, I like that one. I like that it wasn't so in their face with the paparazzi thing. And I like that they used Snow for that because she would know how to handle that in a diplomatic way. Very nice. And also the thing about purple being a royal colour. Fun fact, the colour purple dye was so rare because it used to only be made of a certain kind of sea snail found on one island in the Mediterranean. There was a Roman emperor that wouldn't let his wife get a purple silk scarf using that dye because of how rare it was. Because it was one of the few things in the world worth 3 times its weight in gold. That one silk scarf was so expensive that the emperor wouldn't let his wife get it. Ah! Fun fact for you all. And the guy who made it so you could synthetically make purple dye became uber rich. Which is good because that's several people I know's favourite colour. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.